Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Friday morning safety meeting. Today's going to be pretty short and sweet. I don't have a ton of stuff to cover, but some of the stuff I'm covering might sound a little redundant. So I'll get right into inspections. We did not do so well this week for inspections. Fortunately, we had 2 clean inspections thanks to Don Foley and James Martin. Unfortunately, we had 3 inspections that were not clean. For the violations that we got, we had a vehicle maintenance issue, we had a weight issue, and then we had in the same inspection, seatbelt, unsafe driving, hours of service. So that's something that will not be tolerated and can't. I mean, we have to do better, we have to do our part, especially the seatbelt factor. I mean, not only, do those things save your lives, but those tickets are so expensive. So that's something that we cannot allow. We must wear our seatbelt at all times. I've heard multiple times this year, we've had an issue before where we found out somebody wasn't wearing their seatbelt, and I hate to think like this, but I'm assuming because what I see that it happens more often than what we would think around here, which is absolutely asinine. Because first nature should be you get into the vehicle, you put the seatbelt on. Shoot, I get into my car and the first thing I do is put my seatbelt on, and I'm nowhere near a professional driver. So it is required by law, and I know a lot of the seatbelts that we have are orange and they stick out like a sore thumb, and it's something that the officers can see right away. And a lot of officers now, you hear of officers riding in semi trucks, so they're at eye level with you, so they can look and see if you're on your phone, look and see if you're wearing a seatbelt, if you're driving distracted. Or there'll be people up on overpasses with binoculars. I mean, they pull out all the stops to make sure they're pulling people over that aren't driving safely, that are a hazard to the motoring public. So these seatbelts could be a life or death situation, and not wearing a seatbelt could change that situation to the worst. So it is very important that we wear those seatbelts at all times. And if you get a seatbelt ticket, you're immediately going to be routed to the yard to meet with safety. Nobody wants that. Nobody. And following up with that, transferring logs. That was one of the hours of service violations that we got this weekend. I've talked about this until I'm blue in the face. The only other thing I know to do is tattoo it on people's arms, and I'm not kidding. This is ridiculous, guys. We go through this every month, at least twice a month, on how to transfer logs. I've gone through step by step and showed you. You have step by step instructions in the back of your permit book. So there is no reason why we shouldn't be able to do this. And if you're one that doesn't know how, obviously don't comment on the safety meeting. Be like, hey, I don't know how to do it. Call me, and I would be happy to walk you through that to ensure that next time you get stopped, you're confident in your work, so you can send those logs to the officer and get a clean bill of health and get the money for the clean inspection. It's something that it's so easy, but it's also easily looked over. I know that a lot of people aren't looking at those permit books. They're not paying attention. The ones that are the ones that are watching the safety meeting. And another thing that's kind of crazy, we can see the analytics on the safety meeting. There's a lot of data. Did you know? So our safety meetings average 11 to 12 minutes a week. Did you know that the average person watches the safety meeting for 90 seconds or less? That means I know that most people watching this right now are tuning in for a minute and a half or less. So it's kind of disheartening. That makes me understand why we're getting these violations, the things that we're covering. And of course, the hours of service stuff with transferring logs we do towards the end. And if people aren't watching that, that's part of the problem. And then there's people that aren't watching the meeting at all. So if you don't know how to transfer your logs, please let me know. We'll get through it. I can walk you through it step by step. I've got it memorized in my pea brain. I remember step by step. So please call me if you do have issues. Unreported trailer damage. We are still, running into issues of unreported trailer damage. But I do want to say we are getting much better with this, and I commend each and every one of you that are sending me emails, letting me know what happened. It seems like it's still the same people, but there's a few more that are getting added to that list, and I'm very happy with that. One thing we need to do, make sure you're reporting it to the guard shack. make sure you get an inspection sheet from that Guard Shack, so that way, we can go after them if the customer's at fault. And if there's old damage on a trailer, doesn't matter if you think it's a year old or if it's brand new, always report it. Because I've had a few people say, well, the damage looks really old on this trailer, and I assumed it would already be reported. Well, don't assume that. Send it anyway, so that way you've covered your bases, CYA as they say. So right along with that, we are going to start charging those who don't report trailer damage and to the Guard Shack and get an inspection sheet. If you don't do it, you're getting charged for it. Simple as that. You might have not caused the trailer damage, but you didn't do your part. And the only way to make this better is accountability. We're held accountable here every day for things that we do. So it is part of our job. I hope nobody has a problem with that. If they do, you can call me and we'll discuss it. But it's going to happen. So we need to make sure that we're following those steps. You see damage, send Ryan an email. Get with the Guard Shack. See if it was reported to them. Sign an inspection report noting that trailer damage. And who knows, that Guard Shack might slip up and say, "Now that trailer didn't come in here damaged." Well, if we bring a empty trailer in to drop it and it's loaded when the next driver gets there, that usually tells us that the customer had something to do with it. I've seen pictures of how close they park those trailers together. Nestle Purina, Molson Coors, places like that. Couldn't fit a house cat through those trailers. I mean, they are inches apart from one another. And I know that the people that are maneuvering those trailers are not better drivers than you all are. So I know they're scratching trailers, they're causing damage. So we got to get to the bottom of it and get paid so we can get those trailers repaired. Because it doesn't look great if we're going down the road with a trailer that looks like it got jumbled up in an accident. That doesn't look good. And like I've said, you report the damage to us. If we get compensated for that trailer damage, you get compensated $200 for your part in helping us get it fixed. Brake Safety Week is coming up August 22nd through 28th. We had discussed this last week as well. Brake Safety Week is going to be a bear. They're going to be doing level 1 inspections all week, and just like they were with the CVSA inspections the 11th through the 17th, be prepared because they're going to be pulling people over prior to that week, and there's going to be some overflow afterwards. So make sure that we're prepared. We need to be prepared at all times, but plan on being stopped. Maybe leave yourself a little more time to where if you do get pulled over, you won't be late on your load, and you kind of plan for that. And then the last thing, I would like to congratulate Aaron Clark and Eric Williams. They completed their lease and are in the purchase phase of their trucks right now. That's a big deal. So couldn't happen to two better gentlemen. Very excited for you, very happy for you. That's a big deal. I mean, that's like buying a house. So you guys worked your tails off to get here, and we commend you for it. That's really all I've got this week. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, moans, groans, gripes, or complaints, give me a call. I'd be happy to help. I hope everybody has a safe weekend. It's going to be, I think, around 100 degrees here this weekend. So make sure you've got water in your truck. Make sure you've got fuel. Make sure that everything's on the up and up so it'll keep you safe out there on the road. Because I can only imagine what it's going to be south of here where the humidity's worse and it gets even hotter. So I hope everybody has a safe weekend. Thank you for all that you do, and we will talk to you soon. See ya.